Welcome to the Rise Together podcast weekly hot take series. Every week, we're going to bring you powerful stories and strategies from leaders who are making a real impact by building stronger, more resilient communities. Get ready to be inspired, motivated, and equipped with the tools to thrive in both your personal and professional life.
Hi, everybody. This is Beth Almaris with the Foundation for Family and Community Healing. We're a small nonprofit that really specializes in helping individuals and organizations build resilience and strength through skill-based education. I'm really excited to be here with you today, and we have a great guest. Meet Janet Diodato, who is the Director for HR at the Central Arizona Shelter Services. Hi, Janet.
Hi, Beth. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So why don't we start with you telling us all a little bit about your organization?
Sure. So I work at Central Arizona Shelter Services. We are a homeless shelter in Phoenix. We actually have 3 homeless shelters, one for seniors, single adults, and then families. So we have been here for about 40 years.
Wow. And how many staff do you have?
We have 85 staff members.
Wow, that's incredible. I imagine with everything going on with the economy right now, you're seeing the need for service continue to increase.
Definitely. Yeah. Rising house costs has been an ongoing problem since before COVID. Now it's just getting worse.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. So you're in HR. So talk to me about what that looks like for an organization that does really frontline work.
Absolutely. So we have myself, I'm the HR director. I have an HR generalist, and then I also have an HR admin assistant. We help about 85 individuals that are our employees, but then we are helping about 900 different individuals each day that are staying at our shelters.
Oh, wow. So you're working with the clients as well.
Not us specifically, but the employees, yes. They work
With the
directly.
employees. Yeah, that's amazing. And how long have you been with the organization?
For 2 years.
For 2 years. That's great. So what initially attracted you to HR?
I actually kind of fell into human resources like most people. I was in healthcare for about 20 years, and about 13 years ago, I got the opportunity to start helping in the office, doing interviews, helping with work comp claims, and then scheduling and getting to know a little bit more about how to file work comp claims and how to do payroll and approve timesheets and do scheduling. And it all just snowballed from there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I find a lot of people say that, oh, I fell into it.
It's definitely how a lot of people get there.
Yeah, it's great though. So, what do you think right now are some of the challenges facing the HR industry?
I think there's a lot of changes happening. We always have to look out for how's minimum wage changing, what employment laws are happening. I think there's a general consensus that there's a lot more employee-friendly laws going into place. So paid sick leave, and we're always following like what's happening in California and New York because that's going to impact everybody else. So there's a lot of changes with, do we do diversity? Do we do equity? Do we focus on retention? And with the gig economy, there's a lot more competition out there. So definitely getting in your staff and holding on to them is probably the biggest challenge.
Yeah, that's interesting about the gig economy. It is true.
Mm-hmm.
There really are a lot of ways to work now.
Yes. And I mean, who doesn't want to just be able to say, you know what, today I want to go to work and today I don't. Let me just sign into an app and say, okay, I'm going to go drive for Amazon today, or go drop off some food to somebody, and then I made a quick $100 and now I'm done for the day.
Yeah, it's a real mental shift, isn't it? That's really interesting. And what do you think some of the trends are facing HR for folks?
There's a lot more people who were really focused on being remote, and now I see a lot of people coming back into the office. So that's a new trend that is coming back, getting more of that collaborative and getting to work with each other in group settings again.
And are you seeing people that are resistant to that? Or are they embracing it, or is it a mixed bag?
I think they're embracing it. I think another trend is also to do with the AI and how do they incorporate that into every job. So being able to work with your coworkers again and say, okay, how can we improve this process and this SOP, and how do we change this, and how do we integrate the artificial intelligence? And now you have a simple system where you could just be like, watch me do this, and Scribe How will just be like, here's your SOP from beginning to end. So I think a lot of organizations are embracing that.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about your organization. What kind of either policies or practices do you have in place that support employee wellness?
So we have a new CEO who started in August, and he is definitely employee centered and focused. So that's great for me in the HR space. So we've just added a maternity and paternity leave. So we are giving 160 hours to individuals. And even though we have 85 employees, we see about 4 to 5 pregnancies with our staff each year. So they are getting an extra 160 hours or 4 more weeks of time off. We already have a generous PTO policy, so they're getting 26 days off, 27 days in their first year. And then in their second year, we're adding another 5 days on top of that. So they have the holiday pay. With Arizona, it's now legal to have medical, but also recreational marijuana. So we've adjusted our policies to accommodate that while still being able to take care of our employees so they can do whatever they need to do authentically and be themselves outside of work, but while they're at work, they're still focused on taking care of the clients.
Yeah.
Some other policies that we've changed are more to do with how they work and giving them like a 4 10-hour workday schedule. So they have 3 days off and they're here 4 days. So there's a lot of changes, but changes that employees seem to like and that they are asking for, and we're being able to embrace that and still be able to help those clients find housing.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, the 4 10-hour days is so appealing to so many of us because you get that opportunity to have a little, bonus day, right?
Yes. And coming from healthcare, I was used to working 3 days a week and doing 12-hour shifts. So I can see how it's very beneficial for some. I can also see the challenges with it for employees who have children who have to worry about daycare. But
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is. There's always exceptions, right? There's always like, oh, this is a brilliant idea, except for these folks, maybe not so much. And having that flexibility, and I think is great. Where do you focus, like in terms of training for staff? Do you have opportunities for learning and development for staff available?
Absolutely. We do a lot of training and development. So we have something called Relias, which everyone in human services is using, especially when they have behavioral health. And that has all your basic modulars of how do I de-escalate a client. But then we are starting off a leadership development program right now where we'll have a 2-day workshop and we're talking about, okay, this is what we're going to do with performance management and how we're going to de-escalate situations with staff and how we're going to work together and be collaborative. So that will be a 2-day workshop that will actually end up stretching into a year after that. We also use things like Mac Monroe's How to Be a Great Boss, and we'll have a few sessions with him, and he'll also teach all of the staff, including the frontline staff, how do we better engage with each other? What is the purpose of me being engaged in my performance review, and why is it important that I understand my personality so I can see how I interact with others? So we have different professional development that is all geared to helping our employees be better than they were the day before and helping them develop and get skills that they didn't have necessarily when they started here, but when they leave and go to another organization, or if they move up within ours, they're building on what they started with their foundation.
That's fantastic. Well, you're doing good work and for a very good cause. So thank you so much for coming and talking to us a little bit about it. Well, thank you, Janet, so much. And thank you to our listeners. I'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us today on our Rise Together podcast weekly hot take series. We hope you've been inspired by today's stories and strategies for building stronger, more resilient communities. Remember, resilience isn't just about bouncing back. It's about growing through every challenge to become bigger and better. If you've enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with somebody who could benefit from these insights. Stay connected, stay resilient, and we'll see you next time.